Greg Casillo, ProKnowsPhoto.com. This past weekend, Jared and I had our first live Ustream day from Alan's camera, and one of the readers that was there mentioned to me that they never knew that you could synchronize the developed settings from one photo to another from within Lightroom, and that is definitely a failure on my end because I didn't go over it. I guess I thought it was such an intuitive thing, and sometimes you just realize that, or you just think about it, or you don't think about it. It's like, oh, this is intuitive. Okay, I'm just going to do this. Or especially when you've been doing it for so long and using the program since the very first beta, you know, however many years ago, that it's something normal. Even in Bridge, I think there were those options when I was still using Bridge with Photoshop CS2 or 3 when it first came out, you know, and Bridge or whatever version, you know, with Adobe Camera Raw. Anyway, so I'm going to go over those options and the different ways to do your develop, syncing those settings throughout the different files, as well as a couple of library module shortcuts. So first things first, let's go over one of those library module shortcuts. And this is one of those intuitive things that I just kind of do. I just forget about it. And when you have images selected, as I have here, you can select a different image. Well, you know what? Let me start over. You would normally have one image selected, and you would hit Control A. Okay? Control A selects all of them. Now, if I want to select a different image as the primary image, I click the thumbnail of it. The thumbnail. Okay? If I want to deselect all the other images, I click the frame around it, and it'll select that one. See that? So, Control A, select all, or select the first one, and then Shift and hold and click to the last one. Okay? So, in other words, I could then go from this one to this one and not select this one if I wanted. Now, if I want a different one as primary, I can choose this one. Okay? And clicking the thumbnail. Okay? If I want to deselect all other images except for this one, I click in the frame around it, not the thumbnail. Okay? Nice little tip. Now, you also saw me do this one, which this is more of a user that have a thing that you do in all programs or all operating systems, maybe I should say, and that's selecting all the images and then control and click and deselect some if you would like. Sometimes it's easier to select all and then deselect a couple, especially if you have a bunch of images like 20 or 30 and you only want to deselect a couple. Now, I'm going to select all of these, and again, that's Control A. Now, when you are in the develop module, in the library module, this quick develop panel right here, all the images that you have selected will be changed. Okay, every single one. So first thing I'm going to do is change this to shade. And as you see, all of the images were affected. All the images that I'd selected, let me rephrase that, were affected. Alright, so we're going to go back to, let's try an auto setting, and it's going to change it again. Alright, let's do cloudy. What's cloudy look like? That's not too bad. That warms it up a little bit better. So, I'm also going to bring up my blacks. Alright, now, let's reset the develop on all these. Alright, right click, and I'm going to develop settings. We're going to reset these. Now, say I only edited this file. We can then select all. Make sure that this one has the lighter colored frame around it. Down here in the corner, sync settings. Alright, we can choose what settings we would like to apply using all or none. Once again, if sometimes it's easier, if you only want to check 1 or 2 or 3, you could do that, or you can do check all and then deselect as many or as few as you would like. Then hit synchronize, and it's going to apply to the rest. Now, another way to do it, let's make this photo black and white. Alright, so let's just pick one of these so that you can see what's going on. Actually, not a bad black and white for a stock preset, huh? Now, we would like to, I'm going to apply this black and white. You know what? I'm going to apply it to 3 images. Okay, those 3. Now, this one being my primary image, it has the lighter colored frame around it. I'm going to hit Control, Shift, and C for copy. Alright, that is going to bring up this copy settings dialog box, and it's going to allow me to copy as many or as few of the settings as I would like. Then I can immediately hit Control, Shift, and V and paste those settings once again, and it'll automatically apply those settings. Alright, Control, Shift, C, Control, Shift, V. I believe that's the same on a Mac too. So that will copy the settings and then reapply those settings to all the files, or just the files that I have selected. All right, so let's reset again. Now, when we go into the develop module, things are a little bit different. All right, I'm going to bring up my thumbnail view down here at the bottom. I don't use it a lot. I have 2 monitors, and maybe one day I'll do a video on what I do, how I set up my 2 monitors, and I'll have a big, huge panoramic thing set up for you so you can see exactly how I run it. But typically, I'll have a grid view on the left in the library, and then on my big monitor on the right, I'll have the develop. Now, there once again are a few options. All right, so let's do a better edit this time and see what we come up with. Let's start off with our blacks. I think we need a little bit more vibrance, especially in the greens. Tone curve, as you know, I love my extra tone curve. Let's see. How about we bring down our greens just to saturate them a little bit, because I think the greens are really where it's at here in this particular image. Alright, and you know what? Let's try a little saturation. Not much. Yeah, I think that's good. Maybe a touch more contrast. Now it's starting to pop a little bit. Now, we can come down here to the corner once again and hit sync. Same dialog box. All those settings will automatically, will sync once you hit the synchronize button. Okay? And there those settings have applied to all of these images. Okay? Now, in Lightroom 3, one of the changes is this little toggle right here. Enables auto sync of settings to other selected photos. If I turn that on, auto sync, then what's going to happen is every image that I have selected down here in the thumbnail view, or from the library module, if we were to switch from the library back over to develop, is automatically going to change. So let's illustrate this by making these thumbnails a little bigger so you can see what's going on. And I'm just going to click this over to black and white. See how it automatically changed those images. Sometimes that can be good. Sometimes you like that. I don't use it a whole lot, only every once in a while. I find myself using the Control Shift C and V method a lot, or using just the synchronize settings button either here in the develop module or in the library module. Obviously, we have a reset, and we can reset those. And then we can, once again, Control-Shift-C, select them all. Okay, and then we can select these. Control-Shift-V. There, it's pasted again. So those settings are applied just as as what should have been. So, the thing I also wanted to see is there a shortcut? And I don't think that there is. Let's see. Develop module shortcuts. Let's see if there's a shortcut just to sync. I think you have to hit the Control Shift. Hey, email's coming in. Tab, Shift Tab, Cycle, View Options. No, see, this seems to be the only way to do it, and maybe there is another one, or another shortcut that I don't know of, or that's not listed here, that would allow us to bring up that that synchronize box. But I'm not seeing it or thinking of it right now. So, taking these images And applying these changes to a lot at a time hopefully will be a lot easier now. There's no reason to go from one to the next to the next to the next, especially when they're this close of a set of images. Now, obviously, these two could use a little more saturation. Maybe even these three could use a little bit more saturation. So we can then go to one of these one of these three. That's the one I want. And we can pump that up even a little bit more. Okay, let's get a little more contrast. Let's bring our exposure down because that's going to saturate everything a little more. That's looking pretty good. Maybe a little mid-tone contrast to make it pop a little bit. A little more blacks, and I think we're there. Okay, and our auto sync is on. So the other images automatically had that applied. G, back to our grid view. And there's all of our images. Okay, completely developed. This should be something that you can work on and improve slowly, that you will definitely get better at as you use it more and more. And try this out. Let me know of any comments, questions. The best place for those questions is in our forum at froknowsphoto.com/froknows. You can follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. Until the next time, Greg Casillo, froknowsphoto.com. See ya.